Well, bakers, I'm going to share with you something today that is a classic. If you grew up in England or in Ireland, it is called biscuit cake. It is no bake. It's just a few ingredients. You put it in the fridge. It is to die for. So much so, the Queen of England loves it. Prince Harry and Meghan had it at their wedding. It has been a fan favorite since I was a child. I absolutely love it. It's what you call in America, what you call an icebox cake, or they also call it lazy cake. But if this is lazy, then sign me up because it is so good. So here's how to make it. First thing I'm going to do is just line my pan. I have an 8-inch pan and I'm going to butter it and then layer it with some cling wrap. When I was growing up, this was generally done in a loaf pan. Like more often than not, it was done in a loaf pan. But just recently looking up pictures from the Great British Bake Off and then even from the personal chef at Windsor Castle, it definitely has changed and evolved over the years and gotten fancier. Because it never was fancy. It was fun, but it was never fancy. Today, it's fancy. 2 layers of cling wrap just to make sure we're able to get our cake out of there. Lovely. Over to the side. So now here's a very important ingredient, digestive biscuits. And these are my own homemade digestive biscuits. You can use a graham cracker, just a plain vanilla biscuit would work out just fine. I'm gonna put them into a baggie like my mom used to do growing up. This was a kid's job. She used to give us a bag full of biscuits to make cheesecake. Rolling pin. Down on the floor, and you want to just bash them. Don't bash them too small because we're not looking for too many crumbs. We're actually looking for chunks, just like that. So the recipe for the biscuit cake and my homemade digestives can be found on biggerbolderbaking.com. Here I have some butter in a nice big bowl. I have some bittersweet chocolate. You can also use semi-sweet chocolate. If it's for kids or maybe somebody who doesn't like things a little bit too dark, then use semi-sweet chocolate. I wouldn't use milk as it can be too sweet. You do want a little bit of richness there from the chocolate. A little bit of just unsweetened cocoa powder. I love adding cocoa powder and not just doing a bar of chocolate. I'll tell you why. It makes it easier to cut. It doesn't make it really hard. And it also kind of gives it a softer texture, which makes it easier to eat. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. It's my preference to add it into my one. And then of course, golden syrup. Look at this. So if you're not familiar with golden syrup, it is a very important ingredient in Europe, in Ireland and in Commonwealth countries. And it is simmered down sugar. And I actually, because it's so popular and people are always asking me how to make it, I did a bold baking basic showing you how to make it. This is my own homemade version and it works really well. You can use like a dark corn syrup and that'll work well too. I don't recommend using honey because it has too strong of a flavor. Golden syrup has a caramel flavor. You can also use a light corn syrup. Now this is the base for our cake. Follow me over to the microwave and we're going to melt these ingredients together. So when melting chocolate in the microwave, I always give the tip about just being a little bit careful. I never melt it fully. I always leave it in a little bit of chunks. So this mix is nice and melted. The butter is melted, you can tell. But you can see a few lumps there of chocolate. If you let this sit here for 2 minutes, that will just naturally melt by itself. If you overheat chocolate in the microwave, it can burn it. And unfortunately, there is no saving it. So I'm going to use my whisk to kind of emulsify those ingredients together. Look at that, beautiful. Into this, salt, vanilla extract. My 2 favorite things, salt and vanilla extract. Now, this is what I like in my biscuit cakes. Not everybody likes it. There's always a mix. People put in nuts, some people put in glacé cherries, some people put in raisins. I like golden raisins in mine, which are also known as sultanas. Because if you just have biscuits, there's not enough variety. I don't put nuts in mine, but you totally can. Here's my golden raisins. I'm going to add them in there to the liquid so they can kind of like plump up there for a minute. Give them a mixy mix. Also push your salt in that warm chocolate mix so it dissolves and it just gets everywhere. Beautiful. Okay, here comes the star of the show, our digestive biscuits. In with your spatula, mix until fully coated. So I am an 80s baby. Stop trying to figure out how old I am, but I am an 80s baby. And one show that was very popular in the 80s and possibly into the early 90s was a show called Blue Peter out of London. So we used to watch that around dinner time every single night. And the first time I ever heard of biscuit cake, they did a cooking demonstration on there and they made this biscuit cake, and I thought, I mean, my mind was blown that you take like butter, golden syrup, chocolate, you mix in biscuits, then you put it in the fridge. Like I couldn't get over. I thought it was absolute genius. And I remember the next day going and make it. And even, you know, I started baking since I was around 6 years old. Some of my fondest memories are, you know, in Ireland, baking, standing at our kitchen table. And that's something that like almost like it was yesterday, I can remember it. Just a little few mixes and that's it. Here's our pan. All you have to do is just go straight in there. If you are gluten-free and want to make this, absolutely use gluten-free biscuits. No problem at all. Now for this, you will need to go in with your spatula and just press everything down to get a nice even finish. There you go, lazy biscuit cake into the fridge for a couple of hours to harden. So, doesn't take long for your cake to harden, and then you can turn it out onto your cake platter or your cake stand or whatever it is you want to serve it on. I'm going to turn mine upside down so we end up with a lovely soft finish like that. When I was growing up, you would just serve it like this. But today, people do things a little bit differently. So I'm just going to whip up a really quick ganache and pour it over it. I have a little bit of chopped chocolate here. I'm going to add a small amount of cream. I'm gently going to melt those together in the microwave until I see the chocolate is just melting. I find it really handy to make a ganache in the microwave as long as you don't let the chocolate get too hot. Then I'm just going to go ahead and let it drizzle down the sides of my biscuit cake. To finish it off, I'm going to do a little bit of chopped chocolate on top of the ganache. You can do sprinkles, you can do some nuts, even some biscuits if you like. Once you've poured on your ganache and it is set, it is ready to serve. You can have it with friends over afternoon tea, or you can even have a little slice for your dessert later. Regardless of when you have it, it is very delicious. Sweet biscuits, rich chocolate, that little bit of salt and vanilla that we put in there to enhance all of the other flavors. This biscuit cake is made to be enjoyed all year round, but definitely don't forget about it for the holiday season because it makes for great gifts. It's inexpensive and cheap to make, and everybody loves it. If you liked this easy, no-bake biscuit cake, then get comfy. I have hundreds of videos for you to check out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you back here again really soon.